So yeah, this is going to be the first match. Guys, remember to check eSahara.net for there. You can actually win a free coaching session, 2-hour coaching session from Nama himself, just by replying in the thread of the topic. Just make sure you do that, so you can win a free coaching session. You know, I actually never had coaching sessions, so I'm not really sure how that is, but you know, to interact with Nama is always really nice, so definitely check that out.
Yeah, he's one of those premier Terran guys that you want to learn from. He has put out some amazing games.
He is the first Terran to win the DreamHack, that was last year, I believe, and he actually took out a lot of really good players this year as well. He took out Thorzane, White Raw, and some other great players. So Nama doing pretty well, and he's giving out 2 hours of coaching lessons, guys. We're just posting on www.eSahara.net. Check that out.
Definitely.
Anyway, let's get back into this game. We see that that Feast is actually going to go for a fast forge expand here, and it is a cross position, of course. He is scouting right away the bottom base, and he doesn't find anything there. Cross position is going to be scouted right now.
Yeah. And actually, if you look at this, Nerchio is not going to go for hatchery first. I thought he might have for a second, but he does throw down the pool on 14, so it's a pretty standard build from him. And once he scouts his really fast forge expansion, I'm going to be expecting him to take a very quick third, as it's going to be very hard for Feast to be aggressive in the early games of this part.
Now, that's a really interesting what you said there. You know, a lot of Zerg players really utilize that Forge Fast expand by taking a third expansion really well, because you always want to be one expansion ahead. However, you can be punished by doing that, of course, so you need to be careful at all times. And really, against Protoss, a lot of players tend to go for that pool first instead of hatchery first, which we see against Terran a lot, which is very common. But that's just to be safe against those cannon attacks.
Yeah, but now there is a probe for Feast running around the natural expansion. We could see a pylon wall, theoretically. That's the main threat that Zergs fear in this situation. And I'm kind of surprised that Nerchio is not bringing one drone down to the bottom of the ramp in order to patrol, make sure that pylons can't be thrown down. He sees this the forge, and that it is a threat, and I think we're just going to have those lings out in time. There we go. You will just be able to take down that probe and just contentedly pull back and macro up.
Exactly. Now, you can actually basically put 3 pylons down this ramp, build a cannon to basically, wall off your opponents. However, that is a huge, oh my god, taking the gold. I love this by Nerchio, but that's going to be scouted.
Oh yeah, it's scouted.
Yes,
he sees that.
Scouted. He sees that, so he has to either make something happen. But regardless, he's going to be so much ahead, because by the time you actually have units, it's going to be it's going to be pretty safe to defend this, because he can now basically make Zerglings. We see the first zealot is going to come out here, or actually he cancels the zealots.
Yeah, I mean something that. Okay, one of the few options that Protoss has to be effective with an early game attack off a Forge Fast Expand is producing Zealots and pushing out between 4 and 8, whether you want the +1 attack or not, to put aggression onto the Zerg. But the thing is, with that really fast cybernetic score, that's not going to be happening from Feast. You're going to need a Stargate or something to put effective pressure onto this gold base. And you see the third dig get thrown down by Nerchio. Nerchio is just going to be so happy to try and force premature aggression from Feast through that gold base that Nerchio is going to be in an amazing position if it stays like this for the next couple of minutes.
That is definitely true. Nerchio is even be more ballsy, now taking the natural as well. Oh my god, Nerchio is such a baller. Now look at this. He's taking this base as well. Now you mentioned that something between 4 and 8 minute mark you can push with Zealots. Well, you can, but however, if you have the gold base like Nerchio has right now, and you're starting to mine already, it's really hard to do some critical damage. So in order to make that work, you need a lot of gateways. You need to go for that timing push, but we are going to see, because Nerchio is already taking his natural as well, so he's going to be mining a ton from that gold as well from his natural. But yes, let's take a look here.
Yeah.
Twilight coming up.
Yeah, we're probably going to see a DT play out of Feast right now. I'm going to go for the sneaky death to Nerchio, but you see an Evo Chamber is being thrown down, so I'm going to be guessing Nerchio is going to be ready for this, put down a couple spines, a spore or two at his bases, and be locked down tight. And that's going to be unfortunate. Feast will then be forced to use those DTs pretty much just for Archons, which are an great PvZ unit. But we can see some Stalkers are going to get picked off with these Lings, and that's going to be a nice thing for Nerchio.
Now, one thing you mentioned is that there's going to be possible DCs. If you're a Zerg player, you always want to go for an early Evolution Chamber. An early Evolution Chamber meets around this 7-8 minute mark, you know, the time when there could be DCs. However, of course, if you go for a fast expand, you're not going to have those DCs very fast. There we see a couple of Lings taking probes out here. A really nice pressure here by Nerchio, really making, you know, that pressure is not only to do damage and intimidate your opponent, but it's also to scout your opponent, what your opponent is doing. And once again, he's sacrificing things. Very well done.
Yeah, and actually a really key aspect is that this is buying time. It is delaying a very economic Protoss gameplay, and when Nerchio has that goal, this is perfect just to give himself an even better position. And also, we'll note that Blink is being researched.
Yes.
It's not going to be DTs.
No, that is more common, actually, to go for Blinks and DTs rather, because when you go for DTs and it doesn't work out, it's really hard to come back unless you make those Archons and go for a timing attack, which is by itself risky as well if your opponent has like 3 bases, which includes the gold as well. So really taking all that into account, I think Blink is a better option here. You know, if you have like decent micro as these pro gamers do. So we are going to see here, and he is chrono boosting his +1. I wonder if he's going to go for the +1 and timing attack, or go for possible +2 timing attack, because those timing attacks are really powerful against Zerg.
Yep, he already has the +1 attack done, and his Blink is now done. He's got 7 gateways. He's going for a really huge... Yep. A huge attack with +2 Blink Stalkers off of 7 gateways. But the thing is, he's lost a lot of probes. I mean, in total, he's lost 11 probes. That's a huge blow to being able to produce off of 7 gates continuously, which is almost necessary to make this effective. Because if you look at the food counts, Nerchio's got...
Yes, regardless, though, they are on the same probe count, harvester count. So I'm not really sure. I think this might actually do a lot of damage, but he needs to put pressure really soon instead of waiting too long. Oh my god, roaches are coming in. He's blinking back. Notice that he has +2 attack. That's really strong, whereas Carapace is just starting for the Zerg player, so this might be pretty powerful, actually.
Yep, and the thing is, know that there are no observers, so there's no way this creep can be dealt with. And this creep's going to give those roaches a chance against the Blink Stalkers. There are Spine Crawlers up, and here we're going to see him pushing in. Good micro by Feast, blinking back, but he's got to be careful. But being on creep, Glider Constitution is done, so those roaches are very speedy. They move faster than Stalkers on or off creep. Few people actually realize that they can be kited.
That is definitely true, off creep. But we're seeing... Yeah, Feast is taking a lot of damage here. Oh my god, and now Lings are coming into the fray as well, and one thing you do not want to face is Ling and Roach, because that's so deadly against Stalkers. Even if you have Blink, like, it's really hard to stop. And I don't think this attack is actually going to work, and guess what? Nerchio is feeling even more ballsy. He's taking another expansion here.
Yeah, he's fully aware of the position that Feast is in. Feast doesn't even have a third yet. And the thing is, Nerchio, if he just built an infestation pit right now and then just bought a little time for patch and glance, one fungal on those Stalkers and Lings, and this entire gameplay is dead, and Feast would lose instantaneously. So I'm kind of surprised he's not going for that. He's just going to go for the mass unit style and just try and completely overrun what is now fast becoming an all-in from Feast.
That is definitely true. Now we are going to see an infestation pit. It's being built right now, so that is a natural follow-up to this attack. But here we see Blink Art is doing some damage here, blinking back, but really too many roaches coming in here. Is it going to be enough? He doesn't have any sentries, you know, to cut off the army, which you all really want to do, and which is really very nice against his type of army composition. But he only has Stalkers. I fear that that's not going to be enough, or the right army composition really against Lings and Roaches. Once again, they come into the fray, trying to do some damage, and this army is being pushed back really successfully.
Yeah, but a key aspect is that proxy pylon that is on the high ground. It can't be targeted down, allowing Feast to get a perfectly quick reinforcement warp-ins with that pylon. There was a little bit of a link counterattack, didn't do much damage, but it did force Feast to have a few stalkers in the back of his main base for a little bit of time. But now we're going to see the aggression once again continuing.
Oh my god. A lot of links coming into the fray, and this is really hard to stop. He's going to take so much damage because there are so many links to target down, and that's just not going to be enough. And he is linking up perfectly. There we go. You know, if you actually look at the income tab, I mean, it's in favor of Zerg, but he's definitely not that much behind. But the longer this game goes on, the longer he's going to get behind, because he already has a food supply advantage of 35. So that there we see another roach tech here.
Yeah, but the big thing to know about the income is the distribution of the drones are across 4 bases, including a gold, and that accounts for that huge discrepancy between the two players' income.
Yes. Now, let's take a look here. Now, if you look at the army supply tab, you see that the Nerchio is way in favor. It's way in favor of Nerchio as well. The roaches are just bluntly going into the stalkers, just attacking here.
50 lings are in production right now, 60 lings are in production, 3 infestors. The second those fungals land on this thing, that is going to be the end of this game.
That's going to be really deadly, but here they come once more, trying to do some damage, and these stalkers might be in trouble actually. Surrounding these stalkers, he's trying to blink as much as he can, but really, he's losing stalkers left and right, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. And now the infestors are coming into the fray as well.
Yeah,
and this is looking very grim for Feast. Look at the supply difference. It's dwindling supply difference. It's dwindling for Feast. It's not looking very good.
Yeah, and now that these infestors are here, Nerchio's going to try and land that fungal. And here we go. Let's watch it. If he can get it down, there we go. A couple will die, and this is going to be a really scary time for Feast.
Exactly.
If he just G'd right now, I wouldn't even fault him for that. This is a horrible position.
And that is a very horrible position. 60 supply food difference. I mean, 70 supply food difference even right now. That is just way too much. And Zerg is getting more and more ahead. Look at the fourth expansion. It's not even saturated. No drones as of yet, but he's droning up slowly and gradually. But I mean, he doesn't even need it. You know, he's already almost maxed out. 170 against 96. I just don't see him coming back from here, really.
However, Templar Archives did just get thrown down, and that could be a saving grace for Feast. If he can land really great feedbacks, try and get his expo up, but it's going to be delayed a lot by that creep. Those feedbacks could allow Feast to get out charge lots and get out some more upgrades, because his +2 attack with those zealots is going to be great, because only +1 carapace has been researched by Nerchio, so those lings will die in 2 hits instead of 3. +1 armor is being researched, and now we see a big engagement.
All the links coming into the fray here. Infestors throwing down fungals, but this is way too much. Nerchio is just overthrowing his enemy with the swarm, and I don't think this looks good, really. Even if as Terrence coming into the fray, and this just really deadly for Feast. Feast has to GG out of his. Look at this supply, 60 supply, dwindling. He doesn't even say GG, and he just leaves the game just like that. Oh my god.